Replacing beloved characters with new ones is a tall order. Some people still haven't figured it out. But in 1986, with the release of Transformers the movie, Hasbro definitely botched it. The way the characters were killed off was shockingly mean-spirited for an 80s cartoon. The reason for this was pure commercialism. Their toys had been discontinued, so Hasbro didn't want them to get screen time anymore. I actually read the book Bumblebee and Me by Dan Gilvezan, which states that many of the voice actors were shocked by the movie's script. What was happening to our show that was allowing us to pay our mortgages? The answer, Hasbro wanted new toys because they thought that would make them more money. They were wrong. Peter Cullen was especially upset. After all, he was the guy. Optimus Prime was, for the first 2 seasons, the main character of the series. Ron Friedman knew that when penning the Transformers the movie, and when he saw one of the mandates was to kill Optimus off, he disagreed with it, saying that Optimus was the father figure of the Autobots. They couldn't function without him. Indeed, several episodes depict the Autobots as being unable to win without their leader. In the episode Divide and Conquer, while Optimus is critically injured, the Autobots are on the verge of losing until Optimus comes back and causes the weakened Megatron to have to fall back. In a lot of the episodes of the first 2 seasons, Optimus feels essential. Sure, some of the other Autobots could fight Megatron, but no one could lead the Autobots against the Decepticons. Thus, when the decision was made to kill Optimus off, who could fill those shoes? Ron Friedman tried to answer that by having Rodimus Prime essentially become a natural immortality for Optimus, while Megatron was given an unnatural immortality as Galvatron. Rodimus Prime in the movie was essentially Optimus Prime reborn. It's why he even says transform and roll out. But what went wrong with Rodimus? Well, for starters, a lot of kids blamed him for Optimus Prime's death since he football tackled Megatron and gave him an opening. And whether Hot Rod was responsible or not, that's another discussion. But this certainly didn't help. But what really went wrong is how the character was handled from then on. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Rodimus Prime's toy. This is Galvatron Ultra Magnus' toys. They're quite large, befitting their roles as city commanders. Ultra Magnus can carry a lot of other cars and transport. Then we get the Rodimus Prime's toy, and this is his toy.
But soon, a new Autobot leader will arrive, introducing Rodimus Prime. No one can take on the Decepticons like Rodimus Prime.
Yeah, even for the time, Rodimus had a very bad toy. He was too small to fight Galvatron, who could crush him under his foot. His platform was widely regarded to be pretty useless, and even for the time, his articulation was extremely limited. So overall, there was nothing good about his toy. Now let's cover the writing in Season 3. Rodimus is presented as a leader who is plagued with self-doubt and, well, let's face it, living in Optimus Prime's shadow is tough for anyone.
But you're doing a wonderful job. Trust yourself more, and in time you'll realize you're every bit as good as Optimus Prime ever was.
Optimus Prime. Who could live up to him?
Exactly. But here's the thing, on paper, that's a lot of potential for a character. Optimus was already the strong leader of the Autobots. Rodimus has to earn his stripes. But this isn't something that he really wants to do. At his spark, he was just a kid who wanted to race around and have fun. He didn't want to be the chosen one, it was thrust upon him. That's not something anyone wants, and you can sympathize with him. The problem is, Rodimus doesn't feel very essential to most of the stories in Season 3. There are a couple episodes that revolve around him, such as The Burden Hearts the Bear, but these are pretty far and in between. You never get the sense that Rodimus was really very important most of the time. In fact, a Rodimus-focused episode would typically go like this. Beginning, Rodimus doubts his leadership, doesn't think he's qualified. At the end, he accepts he's the leader of the Autobots. Rinse and repeat. For example, this is Optimus Prime in the episode Blaster Blues.
Optimus Prime!
You're alive!
But not for long!
Every episode with Megatron generally had Optimus as his foil. Their rivalry was the big selling point of the show. Even in the few episodes Optimus wasn't in, he was at least mentioned by another character. In Seasons 1 and 2, you needed Optimus, but in Season 3, well, you didn't necessarily need Rodimus. You also had Ultra Magnus who could do all that instead. From what I understand, in the Diaclone toy line, their Ultra Magnus toy was essentially a powered-up Optimus Prime, or Convoy as he was known in Japan. In fact, Ultra Magnus was basically a white Optimus Prime wearing armor. Maybe the idea was pitched that Magnus would be Optimus' upgrade before they decided to make him a new character. They probably wish they had done that. But the point is, Ultra Magnus was the bigger, more expensive toy, and people have theorized it led to Hasbro demanding he get more spotlight. This is seen in a lot of episodes where Ultra Magnus is doing most of the heavy lifting, while Rodimus just kind of does the cleanup. The Dweller from the Depths is perhaps the episode that showcases this the best. It is Ultra Magnus who is taking charge and leading RC out of danger. Rodimus just helps clean things up at the end. Remember what I said about Optimus and Megatron always fighting in Seasons 1 and 2? Well, in Season 3, Rodimus and Galvatron barely fight one-on-one. I counted 2 in 30 episodes. In a lot of episodes, Ultra Magnus is the one who fights Galvatron. This is largely due to the fact that their toys were each other's counterparts, thus it made sense for them to be the ones fighting each other. This had the side effect of making Rodimus feel second fiddle, and he's supposed to be the leader. One last thing, this is Optimus Prime comforting Chip after Devastator refuses to turn to the Autobots.
Hang on to your dreams, Chip. The future is built on dreams. Hang on.
And now, in contrast, this is Rodimus after Sandstorm bemoans his planet's destruction.
It's as beautiful in death as it was in life.
Well, no need to get all mushy. Cybertron's a better place anyway. Not so perfect.
Yeah. As Transformers Wiki puts it, people wonder why so many prefer Optimus Prime. It's a shame, really. Like I said, the potential of Rodimus Prime, keyword potential, it was there. The execution was sadly another matter. Perhaps if the writing had been more consistent and the toy had been better, maybe the character wouldn't be remembered as a failed attempt to replace Optimus Prime by the general public. He has fortunately found other roles in future media, though whether those have been good is debatable. Well, that's all for today. If you like this video, please hit that bell, like, and subscribe button. If you want updates, follow me on Twitter or join my Discord, which are provided in the description below. If you want to support what I do, check out my Patreon. See you next time.